So before we dive into this topic, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. You already know who it is, man. It's your boy Reggie. Now, I came across this article from, I believe actually it's Sports Illustrated, and they came up with this headline. It says, does Darvin Ham, the Lakers head coach, hate Austin Reaves, right? Now, y'all know me. I've been one of the most critical people of Darvin Ham on the internet, but today, I'm going to do something that I rarely do, and that's defend Darvin Ham. Now, for whatever reason, Austin Reaves, he stirred up a lot of interest, I'll say, in the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, he did play well to close out the season last year, especially going into the playoffs. But if you guys remember, last season, when we started the season, there was an Austin Reaves before there was an Austin Reaves, and his name was Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker, the first 3 months of the season was averaging 17 points per game. Now, obviously, Lonnie Walker ended up getting injured, ended up going to the bench, ended up being put in the doghouse by Darvin Ham, and he pretty much lost his spot in the rotation. He did come on strong in the playoffs in that game 4 against the Golden State Warriors and helped the Lakers take a commanding 3-1 series lead. But that was really, his brightest moment in the playoffs last season. Right? So we go into this season. Our starting lineup, if you guys remember, was pretty horrendous. We had D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reaves, LeBron James, Taurean Prince, and Anthony Davis. Now, D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reaves, if you guys don't know, in my opinion, that was probably easily, one of the worst starting backcourts in the NBA, especially in the Western Conference. Those two guys, man, they couldn't guard a parked car when they were in the starting lineup together. And because of that, the Lakers had one of the worst first quarter differentials in NBA history. Actually, the worst first quarter differential in NBA history. And it saw Austin Reaves have to go to the bench, right? And that is a move that I was calling for, and I'm glad that it happened because, like I said, Austin, pretty solid player, but he just can't really guard anybody. So now we're starting to see articles of people saying that Darvin Ham doesn't like Austin Reaves because he's not seeing as many minutes as he once was. It's a little bit idiotic to me. Now, I came across this podcast. It's called Hoops Tonight. And I want you guys to listen to what Jovan Buha, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He's a beat reporter for the Los Angeles Lakers, and they got to talking about Darvin Ham's new starting lineups. I'm gonna let you guys take a quick listen to what they had to say.
To me, it's such it's a representation of a basic lack of understanding of the way basketball teams operate. And this is crazy to me because me, Jovan, I never, ever complain about the coach. I think that often it's just an easy target, especially for fans when they can't really target anything else during the season. And to me, if there's one thing that a basketball lineup needs to do, it's to check all these specific responsibilities, right? And it's no different than like if you were to run out a big goal line package at midfield and you had 7 offensive linemen on the field, you might be able to better protect your quarterback. But who the hell is going to get open? Like, who are you throwing to? You know what I mean? And it's just a basic, you almost are diminishing your returns even on the defensive end because a couple of things. First of all, when you have guys that are on the ball taking heavier duty responsibilities, the off-ball jobs are easier, especially for smarter players. And so you can get better defensive production out of lesser defensive players in an off-ball role, especially if they're a smart, high IQ player, like Austin, for instance, right? And then on the other end of the floor, I know it sounds crazy, and we talk about this all the time, the idea of setting your defense, but scoring the basketball makes getting stops easier. It just does. It even above and beyond the geometry of the floor when they have to take the ball out of the basket. It's also about motivation and passion, and just when you're getting buckets, you want to sit better in a stance and to fight harder over that screen. And it's about believing in what your unit is capable of doing on both ends of the floor. And above and beyond anything else, there was no legitimate earning of the rotation spot. And what I mean by that is it's not like Cam's playing so well you have to start him. It's not like Jared Vanderbilt is playing so well you have to start him. Taurean Prince is the one guy in that group where it's like he's taken like 8-9 threes a game and he's making 40% of them over the last month or whatever. Like Torian, at least you can make the case he's shooting the shit out of the basketball. You got to have him on the floor, right? But those other two spots, how is it that by default they are going to lesser players? That's the part I don't understand. Like Austin Reaves has had some defensive limitations this year. There's no doubt he hasn't been as good this year. Teams are being more deliberate about attacking him. But beyond any shadow of a doubt, the total two-way impact of Austin has far superseded anything that Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt have brought to the table. So there is legitimately no logical case for putting this lineup out there to start games. And it's frustrating for me because I hear you say things like what you just said a minute ago where you're like, oh, and I think they're going to stick with it for the time being. Okay, can you elaborate on that for me, first of all? Like, how long do you mean? And also, like, is he just under the impression that this is going to start working at some point?
So you guys just heard what I believe his name is Jason Timpf, if I'm not mistaken. You guys heard what he said. He's got a pretty good podcast called Hoops Tonight. Be sure to check it out. He said that there's no logical reason why Austin Reaves shouldn't be in the starting lineup, and I just absolutely disagree with that 1,000%. In my opinion, you know, there are many reasons why Austin Reaves shouldn't be in the starting lineup. One of those reasons is a guy named Rui Hachimura, right? Rui Hachimura is 6'8". He was a lottery pick coming out of Gonzaga. Austin Reaves went undrafted, right? Now, I know you guys are going to say, well, you know, he wanted to go undrafted so he could get picked up by the Lakers, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I get all that, right? But Rui Hachimura, like I said, was a lottery pick, okay? This dude is extremely talented, has extreme upside. In my opinion, we saw it last game because Cam Reddish was out. Rui Hachimura got to start. Now, I believe that Rui Hachimura needs to start regardless of Cam Reddish's injuries or not. I believe he's a better player than Cam Reddish. Sure, Cam Reddish might be a pretty good defender, but offensively, he really brings nothing to the table that Rui doesn't. And I think Rui, even though he's not the greatest defender, he's at least serviceable. So, in my opinion, I don't understand how Austin was ever even starting over a guy like Rui Hachimura anyway. Also, you have other guys like, for example, a Max Christie, right? Now, I will concede that Max Christie is not the offensive, you know, scoring threat that Austin Reaves is right now. But I got to be honest with you, man. If we're just talking upside, I think Max Christie should be eating into some of Austin Reaves' minutes off of the bench as well. You guys just heard what Jason Timpf said. Teams are attacking Austin Reaves. That's a part of the reason why he had to go back to the bench, because number one, he couldn't guard opposing teams' starting players. It just is what it was. I believe Max Christie, he's got way more upside than Austin Reaves does defensively. We saw him come in the last game. Now, it was against the pathetic Charlotte Hornets, but he came in off the bench after not playing for a couple of weeks, and he had like 2 blocks as soon as he checked in the game. He had the best plus minus on the team, I believe, before we even got to halftime. So, you know, I get where these guys are going. But if we look at Austin Reaves' tenure with the Lakers, we got to be honest, man. You know, all we've really done with Austin is lose, right? He was a part of the team in 2022 that didn't make the play-in tournament. He was on that team. You know, last season when we started 0-5, 2-8, you know, 13th, 14th place for the majority of the season, he was a part of that team as well. You know, the Western Conference Finals, we got swept. He was a big part of why we got swept. I mean, he couldn't guard a parked car. Then we go into the summer. He goes on Team USA. You know, everybody's singing his praises, but Team USA eventually doesn't even get a medal. Then we go into this season, and then he's in the starting lineup, and we have one of the worst first quarter differentials in NBA history. Actually, the worst first quarter differential in NBA history, because a large part due to D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reaves. So, me personally, man, I just find these, you know, these reports and everything like that to be a little bit stupid, right? I think Austin Reaves is best suited coming off the bench. It just is what it is. He's a role player. We can't sit up here and just say things that really just don't make any sense. I actually do agree with Darvin Ham putting Austin Reaves on the bench. But I want to get you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know, man, what y'all thought. I know we got a lot of Austin Reaves fans out there, man, so I know you guys are probably going to vouch for him to be reinserted back into the starting lineup. But me personally, man, I think he's doing just fine coming off of the bench. But yes, man, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. This was another installment of The Locker Room. Peace.